we one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag bag yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah. It's a full span, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Yes, fight fans, we're back. And my name's Mr. Neutral. This is iBoxingHub. This is Hardtalk. And this is the sponsors. Yes. If you want any of this clobber, 40% off in the promo code iBoxingHub24. It's really good drip, really good drip. I'm going to be joined by all sorts of characters tonight, but first on the list is my mate Jay. How you doing, big man?
I'm good, brother. You?
Yeah, not too bad. 2 weeks of COVID, and yeah, glad to be over that. I could tell you, headaches every day, but that's another story. Jay, we're going to go over the last, say, couple of weeks that we have been off on iBoxingHub, especially me being ill, and we're going to cover all that's happened, and we're going to start off, me and you. I think we'll start off with the Bivol Beterbiev epic battle that we saw last weekend.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the fight itself, undisputed, first time in 25 years, absolutely tremendous stuff.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts of the occasion overall? During your watch along?
Yeah, it was. I mean, as a spectacle, it had everything. Didn't it? It had glitz, it had glamour, it had Buster, it had Missy, it had piped in crowd noise. So as a spectacle, it was fantastic. The fight, for me, surpassed expectations. I expected it to be a lot cagier. I thought Bivol had boxed on the back foot a lot more. I was surprised he held his feet and traded at times. He caught Beterbiev with the harder punches in the earlier sort of 3 or 4 rounds of the fight, and so I had him 3 or 4 rounds up at one point. I was really surprised how he held his feet. I just didn't expect it from him because we know how good a counterpuncher he is and how good he is going backwards. So I expected him to use that, which he did towards the middle and latter stages of the fight. He started to get on his bike and move a lot more. But yeah, it was one of them fights, man. I didn't appreciate it until I watched it again, maybe 2 or 3 times. I watched it. I had a completely different result. I had Bivol wide when I first watched it. Then I watched it again and I had it sort of closer. If I'm honest, I've watched it 6 times and I'm not giving it to Beterbiev. People can say I'm wrong. People can say I'm a hater, but I've scored it. I've never watched it with the commentary on because I originally watched it on a watch along. We did a live, myself and Sam. I've just scored it different every time, but I've given it to Bivol every time. I think he won that by a couple of rounds, maybe a draw, because there's a couple of swing rounds in it for me. I think 7 and 12 are sort of swing rounds. But yeah, I can't wait to see it again if it happens.
Great stuff. And obviously, good time. All peace, welcome to the show.
Nice to meet you, brother.
This is Jay from Jay's Fight Club. What you saw, I'm going to suspect, is a little bit of a different story from Jay. Tell me your thoughts on the Beterbiev Bivol fight. It's the first question. It's the first subject.
First of all, appreciate you for having me. Appreciate both of you gentlemen. Look forward to having some amazing dialogue. And first of all, man, shout out to Beterbiev, shout out to Bivol. That was an amazing fight. I think it lived up to the expectations of being a true 50-50 fight. And we got a true showing of that, man. We seen an unstoppable force against an immovable object. it was the true definition of a irresistible force paradox. You dig?
Yeah.
Like I loved it, man. I enjoyed every minute of it. But truly, my true assessment of it, it was razor close, man. It was razor close margins. I mean, obviously, Bivol was controlling the first part of the fight. The first 2 rounds, you see him coming out on his front foot, and he was kind of pressing the action a little bit. It was kind of shocking and surprising to see Bivol on his front foot. You know what I'm saying? At the beginning of the fight, kind of forcing the action on Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying? Who's the stronger puncher and the stronger fighter, and who we expected to kind of come out and bring the pressure, you know, early on in the fight. So it was impressive to see Bivol coming on and applying the pressure as soon as he came out. But you seen him kind of respond in the 3rd round. You kind of seen him make an adjustment and started to push back a little bit. And that's when you seen Bivol started to operate more on his back foot. And as the fight wore on, you seen him kind of, you know, start to answer to the pressure rather than him pressing the action. He was kind of responding to the action that was being pressed on him. So that's why, like in the 4th round, you seen it, and then he turned the tide in the 5th round. In the 5th round, you seen the tide turn completely, and then you seen more action being pressed from Beterbiev. Like from my perspective, it seemed as if Bivol's counter punches, while they were sharp, they were far few and in between. They start to kind of diminish a little bit because of the constant pressure from Beterbiev.
Level drop.
Yeah, he was trying to remain defensively responsible at most parts of the fight. He was trying to remain responsible.
At what point of the fight were you at when you were getting this?
So 5.
You know,
I think you said around 5, didn't you? But I think
round 5.
Around 5.
Can I just add something that I think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, go on, Jay.
It solidifies your point. I think that Bivol had to work harder to stop Beterbiev than Beterbiev had to work to stop Bivol. So when you got to round 5 and Beterbiev was starting to catch up, Bivol was starting to slow down then, because it took everything he had to get to that point and be in front. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So he had
his power bar was less.
to build that lead. You seen it though. You seen the energy that he was pouring on as he was mixing up his combinations. His combinations were real crisp, they were real sharp, and they were real intentional. But then, you know, as the fight began to wear on, it was more like it was more defensive posturing. It was more like boom, boom, get back, you know what I'm saying, rather than let it move my will. Right?
Yeah.
So, and then when you seen it, like when I looked at, I don't know if you guys looked at the Fight Hype interview that Bivol did after the fight, but when he started his assessment on the fight, he spoke to the conditioning and the patience of Beterbiev, and that's what you've seen. That in my opinion is what won him the fight. His patience, his conditioning, and his timing as well, because he started to time Bivol's pendulum motion. He started to time his, because like from my perspective, he's familiar with that Soviet style. So he started to time him a little better and started to get his rhythm as the fight wore on. Because Bivol started to slow down. I don't think his conditioning was as good as Beterbiev's, even though he's a bit older. You know, I don't think his conditioning was as good, and I think that showed in the championship rounds of the fight.
Thank you, Opie. Let me just acknowledge some of the people in the chat here. Big up SW Fight Club, that our mate Sam, Jams Boxing Chat, Turnbuckle TV, that's you. Opie's. Yeah, thanks guys for all your comments there. Now, going back to the result and the announcement of the result, Jay, I've seen many videos of reactions, watch-alongs and thing, you know, and obviously in that time when the judges were making their minds up, we've seen certain things happening in the ring.
Well, they knew he'd won. You saw his reaction. He was devastated. When the bell went, Betterbiev's team were gutted. They'd already told him, I don't care.
They looked defeated, didn't they?
Well, he'd already said, didn't he, toward the middle of round 10 going into 11, listen, you need a stoppage. Afterwards, he said, no, I was trying to G him up to go for the stoppage.
Yeah.
Listen, you thought you were losing the fight. And a lot of people thought he was losing the fight. As OP says as well, people thought Beterbiev were winning. But that team looked dejected. They didn't celebrate straight away. And then sort of 2 minutes before they gave the announcement, it started to filter around that he'd got the result. Eddie Hearn started screaming, bullshit. And they all then got all smiley and jovial and happy.
You even had
I'm not
a Chechen...
a fix or anything, but what I'm saying is the comparative of the two fighters at the end was totally different. Bivol lifted his arms up, he's high-fiving his crew. Beterbiev was a little bit more reserved. I mean, he's a reserved character
very
anyway.
reserved.
My guy's chill anyway. He's not a screamer and a shouter. Neither of them are really.
He's not a showboater.
Of the two fighters, you feel as though Bivol was more pleased with his performance than Beterbiev.
He seemed more pleased at the end. His first reactions when the bell went, he tapped gloves. Bevel's got his hands in the air. Beterbiev's walked to his corner. He's got an arm. One of his trainers has put an arm around. The body language from the training, from the cornerman.
They look good.
And, was so one of dejection initially. But then, the delay was coming. I'm seeing Kadyrov, the Chechen warlord, going into the ring.
That's not
they're saying, you've got this, things like that. Things was my bullshit radar was going off. I'll be honest.
When I saw Ramzan Kadyrov getting,
I'm thinking something's not right here. And then it turns out that a WBC representative, official, was going around telling certain folks allegedly that, this is going to Beterbiev. Now, the one judge who gave Beterbiev, the Polish judge, gave Beterbiev 8 rounds to 4. Listen, there's arguments for 6-6, there's arguments for 6-4, 7-5 level, or either way. But 8-4, I've got to say, that created a hole in the fight that has enabled Bevel's team to make a plea to the IBF, and as of 5:10 p.m. British time tonight, Sky Sports have said the IBF is open to letting Beterbiev fight in a rematch against Dmitry Bivol instead of the mandatory defense of his world title against Michael Effort. Now, that for the IBF, for me, to even consider this, considering that the IBF has already took step aside for this, they must have some merit in what they're saying, Team Bivol. Now, talking about the rematch, do we want the rematch, or is it going to be a case? I'll put this to you first, Jay. Now, again, I was telling you about my bullshit radar was going off at the end of that fight, and things were starting to come apparent to me. Maybe it's my conspiracy theory, disease-ridden mind. I don't know, Jay. But things were not sitting level with me. And one of them things is, before the fight, I think it was 2 days before the fight, Canelo's put a tweet out saying that he'd be open
fighting
to consider a Beterbiev fight.
Yeah.
Now, for me, getting Turki Al-Sheikh, and I'm not about to say that Turki Al-Sheikh has done anything wrong here, right?
No, he's
but
not.
What I will say is that he is aware of certain political moves in the background and wasn't happy about it, hence his comments after the fight about Bivol winning. Now, but on the other hand, he's not going to be too unhappy because in Riyadh, he has fulfilled, a regional, let's say, ambition of an undisputed champion in the Muslim world. They had that. Now, what does Tokyo Sheikh want for Christmas or for Eid more than anything in the entire world? He wants a
Canelo.
Canelo fight. And
Are
the
you?
way that for me, if this has been maneuvered
I'm not. I
and
don't.
things have worked out in their favour, was this result on last Saturday in which Beterbiev, against all reactions before this fight ended, that Bivol had won that fight on points, that Beterbiev had got this fight, all that stuff was happening in the corners with the WBC officials. Things were not sitting right. Am I right in saying that we're going to be seeing a Canelo Beterbiev Cinco de Mayo 2025, Jake, and then
No.
you?
No. No.
Are you gentlemen
No.
of the opinion that there was nefarious work at play?
I'm not.
I'm my conspiracy theory, disease-ridden mind is screaming
I'm not.
conspiracy piece
Nah. I'm
to
not.
get
At
this
first,
Canelo fight
at
on
I
a
don't
first,
think
Tokyo
there was
Sheikh
nah. I
card.
had
nefarious
it.
work at
I
play,
had it
bro. Like,
wider, right? I had it wider. So at first, I'm like, nah, fuck this. They've ripped my guy. They've blah. But then when I've sat and watched it, there's a couple of rounds swinging it. And I just think the judge has got it 8-5. He's watching it from a certain position. Some of the punches he thought landed. I don't think it's that
bro,
deep.
like that's one round from it separating it from being 7-5. The judge, the third judge, gave the round 6 that was actually the tied round. He gave it to Better Beef because Better Beef was busier in the round. I think he landed 9 out of 53 some odd punches, and B-Ball landed like 9 out of 41. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a couple punches disparity in the round, but they both landed the same amount. It was a swing round, very close, but he gave it the Better Beef. So that's what made the round 8-4. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if I'm that judge, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give him a pass, bro. Like it was a very close fight, man. Razor thin margins. Like Better Beef only landed 6 punches more than Bebo.
Yeah, it was nip and tuck. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
That's
out of the 48 power punches that Beterbiev threw, only 24% hit, whereas the 49 power punches that Bivol had done, he'd done in half, the
half the amount of work.
ratio.
Right, just from this comment here, right? I'll tell you why. The problem with judging is, right, that
That's
most
absolutely
of them
correct.
will judge forward pressure. So forward pressure is consistently trying to attack. But for me, you should also judge retreating, defensive, positioning, parrying of punches in pretty much the same way, because we'd have had a different result.
Cutting the ring off, nullifying your opponent's offense. That's also part of that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think people like to say that that's not boxing and just say that the guy boxing off the back foot, looking sweet, he's the one who's boxing. No, I think the guy who's going forward, cutting the ring off, nullifying his offense, forcing you on the back foot, forcing you to make adjustments. I think that guy's boxing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are, you're older generation that have enjoyed boxing for many, many years. Is it time that the boxing moves with the times with technology?
Yeah.
Is it time that we get rid of this 3 judge at canvas level system?
It should be 3 of 5, right? Computerized scoring, and if 3 select the same punch within a split second of each other, it's a point. Similar to the Olympics, but obviously it'd be slightly different because it's professional, so the targets are different. But how the Olympics have done it is 5 judges sat at different points with a monitor as well, and if they hit their punch within a split second, if 3 out of the 5 hit it, it's a scoring shot. Because the odds of 3 of you out of the 5 all getting it wrong, the chance of that are slim to none. I think something like that will be better. I also think judges shouldn't be sat ringside because you only get a certain angle. I've been ringside watching a fight, and I mean ringside, the very front row, right? And I've missed shots myself You know, like someone said, "Oh, did you see that 5-punch combination?" I'm like, "Nah, most of them it is gloves," and they're like, "Nah." You watch it on the TV from the other side, my man's head's getting pinged all over, and I'm thinking he's moving with it and he's defending it. Nah, his mouth's all busted open. It's not. Do you know
My
what I'm
point
saying?
exactly.
You should see it on a screen with camera angles so that you can get similar to VAR in football or soccer. You know, they get 360 perspective. You need a 360 perspective with fights. You have to have a 360 perspective.
I was speaking to Aladdin, aka Zeke, on Twitter. He's the ESPN sports director, filming, and he often sends me, and thank God he does, you know, because he's a great guy. He doesn't have to do this, but he sends me the overheads of all the fights, the big fights. Yeah. And when you see the overheads, you see a totally different fight.
Different, man.
Would I be out of order to suggest that maybe judges, as you say, Jay, should not be ringside, but indeed should be somewhere else in the stadium with all the technology, all the angles and multi-screens,
soundproof room,
no commentary, just what, and even to the point where, well, do you give them the sound of the crowd? No,
it needs
give
to be
them
complete
nothing,
silence, man, so that they can concentrate
but
on what they're looking
total
at.
focus and concentration on what they're watching. For me, that would be a far more suitable, and I mean, obviously under observation that they're doing the right thing. But again, it's going to come down to cost, and there'll be some excuses, but it does take away the ambiguity.
Neutral, I don't even think it's that. It's just the suits. They just don't want to implement change. It's like that in every single sport. It takes a while.
How long did football resist? Remember?
Yeah.
Until VAR come in. Let's go back to some of these comments in the chat. Oh, SW Fight Hub star-studded panel and chat on the Friday night. Thank you, mate. Jam's boxing chat. They were hugging Batubiev's camp before the fight. It was written who would win, in my opinion. Jams, you have a friend in me. The 116, 112 from the poll was hard to take for me. It was definitely wasn't 8 rounds apart. No, not at all.
I agree, Jam.
But that's not 8 rounds. That's not 8 rounds apart, is it? It's 4.
There's 4 rounds apart. I know what he meant.
I mean, I don't believe it was 4 rounds.
But he does go on to say that judging is subjective. It's no official rule, and that's absolutely true. There is no criteria or official guidelines what judges should be following. Instead, in my opinion, judges just judge how they want to see fighters fight. You know,
there's no rhyme or reason. I mean,
for me, it's 3 different opinions.
Judges judge fights like fans judge fights.
Yeah,
I think if the fans and the judges were all going off the same rule book, the same hymn book, I think there'd be far less controversy.
It needs to be like MMA. You see less contentious decisions in MMA because there is an actual physical scoring criteria rule book, you know, and it breaks it down for them. So there's more. I know there's a lot more variables in MMA because you've got kicking and elbows, etc. But at least they know what they're watching. Do you know what I'm saying? I've followed MMA for 30 years, so I'd like to think that I can appreciate what I'm looking at, and I'll see myself sometimes scoring fights, and then it'll be very similar to what the fight's being scored. And you get less bullshit decisions in MMA. It's a lot clearer because the criteria is set out. So you know what, if you've watched it for a long time like me, you can pretty much score it bang on. Whereas now at boxing, we'll score it. So I've got a scorecard written down. You'd laugh if I showed you my scorecard for last week because it's wide for Bivol. Then when I've watched it again and my other scorecard, it's completely different. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Why do you think it is some fights you can score along with the judges, you can score along with the unofficial scorecards and everything be lined up succinctly, but you have some fights where you're seeing the fight one way and the judges see it a completely different way. Why is that?
Because there's no specific criteria. So for example, I'm scoring forward pressure or defensive pressure. The judge might be scoring offensive pressure. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're judging two different things. So if I'm judging like Bivol, I was judging a lot of his parries and a lot of his tucks in, whereas it looked, obviously, one of the judges, the Polish judge, was judging shots to the body that I thought were getting caught on the elbows. He's giving them a scoring punches. The ones behind the ears there, I'm thinking he's got his gloves cusping them. So I think it's just that because there's no specific criteria, as like, I'll reference MMA again, nobody knows what they're scoring until they turn the cards in at the end, and they're all different.
I have to agree. Now,
can I use this fight for an example real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Let's suppose this fight, O'Shaquie Foster with Robson Conceição. Now, that's a fight that you can really consider a robbery. Now, I don't like to use those terms loosely. I don't like to use those terms loosely. But that specific fight, it applies. You can apply that term to that fight because I think everybody, you know what I'm saying, seen the same thing. What we all seen. We've seen O'Shaquie Foster really controlling the whole pace of the fight. We seen Robson Conceição applying ineffective aggression the entire time. Now, see, when I seen Beterbiev applying pressure, a lot of people was calling it ineffective. I didn't see it that way. I seen a lot of effective aggression because you actually seen Beterbiev moving Bivol physically from one end of the ring to the next and following him the entire time, staying in front of him. Body, you know what I'm saying, going up to the
I think what you're saying there, though, what people don't see, so you've got an eye for it. So you see when Beterbiev's manipulating space, so he's making the angle smaller so that Bivol can't turn and pivot and move out, right?
He really have to choose. He have to choose to either fight or counter or straight defend. Because he can't do both at the same time. You're going to get caught.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of people, fans, don't realise that. They just see Bivol's slick moving out of the way, and Beterbiev's just following him like a robot. When really, it's Beterbiev's leading the dance there. He's making Bivol go in certain directions, but it doesn't look like
he's leading them. He's leading them.
I actually thought it was the other way around. I thought
I'm not saying that's how I saw it.
I thought he had Beterbiev chasing him,
I'm
changing directions.
I'm using a section as an example to solidify what people say. But both things happen in the fight.
Because
both things happen at different parts of the fight.
That's correct. That is correct. And again, it comes down
just to back up what my guy was saying.
Yeah, it does. And do you mean that fight left me wanting more? It was like a Moorish fight. I just wanted more of it.
Again straight after.
Half
an hour and go.
You've watched it 6 times. I must have watched it 4 times in COVID state. I'll put the Beterbiev Bivol fight. I'm just as enraged as I was every time I was watching it. But listen, lads, there's on that undercard there was fights that obviously didn't go to the judges where they weren't needed. One of them was Fabio Wardley, and we're going to come into Glovegate now against Fraser Clark in that one round destruction Saturday night. Obviously,
I've got a take on this.
Let's hear it, Jay.
So, fantastic performance by Fabio Wardley. I actually picked against him. I thought Fraser Clark's boxing would be a little bit better and that it'd be a longer, drawn-out fight. And I think I'd picked Clark unanimous decision or late stoppage. One of them, anyway. It went completely opposite to what I'd picked.
Oh, yeah. Same with
me. But at 2 instances in the night, and it's on film, so I'm not chatting shit, but I'd said, as soon as I saw Victor Loughlin, I said to Sam, Victor Loughlin will fuck some shit up in this fight. Something's going to go wrong. He had the Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron fight, right?
Yeah.
I'm not blaming
Josh
him
Taylor, Jack Carroll.
But I said tonight he's going to fuck shit up. For me, I know when Fraser Clark turned his back, Victor Loughlin should have stepped in and separated him. For me. Also, do you remember when Tyson Fury had all the Steve Cunningham? He had all of his arm, didn't he? And he wouldn't let him go. He spat him round and he cracked him, right? For me, there were 2 points there where I think Victor Loughlin should have or could have interjected. When Clark had his back turned, I thought he should have not made him go to a neutral corner, but just separated him so that.
Do you
Clark
feel that he didn't protect Fraser enough then?
Potentially, but you also have to protect yourself at all times, and he turned his back. You're not really supposed to turn his back, but if you watch it, he's just got clumped. My guy don't know where he is, so he's sort of turned around and he's looking at the crowd. I think Fraser expected to get separated then, because when he turns back round, he's got his hands down by his side, and he just turns straight round, and Fabio Ward is on him, gets hold of him, and bam. So for me, it was a bit of a messy end. I think Victor Loughlin made it like it was. I think Fabio would have got to him anyway, judging by the reaction from the shot. But I just think Victor Loughlin left a chink of light for pricks like me to pick up on shit and have a moan about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Don't you ever see that about yourself?
I can't moan. I can't moan about the victory, whether I picked against it or not, because it was a devastating finish. Oh. My guy hits hard.
Yeah, and Opis, you were one of them Fabio Wardley fans that was saying to me that Wardley was going to do this over Fraser Clark.
Called it. My guy called it.
What do you think of Fabio now going forward, and who should he be fighting next moving forward?
I would like to see, man, first of all, man, shout out to my guy Fabio Wardley. Shy in the building.
Thank you, Shy, for coming through, guys.
Shy had posted that Fraser Clark was looking in shape and he was coming in ready, you know what I'm saying?
171 pounds.
First thing I said, whoa, what's up, Jam? How you feeling,
Yes, Jam.
I'm
yes,
good, mate.
Jams.
How are you, Peace? How are you, Neutral? How are you, Jay? How are you, Miss Shy?
Good, brother.
Thanks for coming through, big man.
All right, mate. Just have me Chinese. I'm ready to go.
I hope you're enjoying it, mate.
Yeah, man,
and 505 is in the house. The watch party queen herself. And yes, darling, what have you started on Twitter when it comes to Fabio Wardley? We've seen the tweets, absolutely fabulous responses. Take us through it.
So basically, big up, guys, first of all. Big up, Jams, Neutral, OPs, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hi.
So, yeah, basically, I was just on YouTube, right? And I'm just like, I always just scour and just see like boxing updates, whatnot. And then I found this channel called The Sportsman Boxing, but the video had like 2 views. So I was like, raw, like this is a good interview. And then when Ben was talking about the gloves, I thought, oh shit. Okay, let me just clip this, put it on Twitter and just have like a conversation with everyone, like with you guys that I normally speak with. I put it on there and within a few hours, the clip went from like 100 views to 2,000 views to 30,000 views, 40 views. Then it was like on like 85,000 views. And I said, oh my days, this is a bit mad. Then I saw, then I saw the Sun, the Mirror newspaper, the Metro, they all took like the clip and was talking about it in the newspaper. So I thought, oh shit. Then I saw Frank Warren this morning on TalkSport and he's talking about the clip that I posted. He's like, I'm not happy with Ben. I'm taking this to the board and rah, rah. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't think it was going to catch that much fire. I just thought it was just like a little conversation and it just went viral. So yeah, it's crazy. Every time I see Frank now, he's fuming with Ben. Like Frank doesn't really like Ben anyway. So I think he's just like using this. He's like, yeah. I'm using this to take your ass to court, boy. But yeah, it's mad, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Fabulous stuff. And Jams, let's bring you into this chat. Ben Shalom, he's made a big stink of these gloves. Tell me what you think, what you know of what's going on here.
Well, I seen it yesterday for the first time, mate, and I think it's an absolute pathetic attempt at trying to get Fraser Clark off the hook, because we all seen what happened. Fabio Wardley put him in the dirt. He broke his cheekbone, he broke his jaw, he had a dent in his head. This was the most one-sided conclusive victory you're ever going to get. And no amount of Ben Shalom bitching and whinging and lying is going to get his fucking fighter out of that hole. I'm sorry, but Fabio Wardley showed exactly how to knock out a heavyweight.
Boy, Wardley put his foot in Clark ass, boy. That's all there is.
It was reminiscent of a Mike Tyson first round destruction back in, I would say, 1986, around then.
Oh,
Absolutely.
stop it, man. Fucking hell, I won't go that far. You're putting Fabio Wardley saying that will like...
I'm talking about that type of destruction,
No,
Jay.
I think he means the
That
knockout, Jay, not the
fucking
fight.
I've not
the
seen.
knockout.
I've not seen it.
Useless, man. He's useless. Let's be honest. They're both useless, really. Right?
Well, no, did Frazier let us down there?
Yeah, but Frazier, unfortunately for him, right, he came through the Olympic cycle when AJ was number one, then Joe Joyce was number one, and he hung around at amateur too long, so he's turned pro too late, unfortunately. He can't get the amateur style out of his game, and it don't work at that level. It works at the lower weights where they don't bang so hard because you can get away from it. But at heavyweight, look at Audley Harrison. Romped to an Olympic gold medal. Absolute dog shit, man. I was there when Wilder battered him in Sheffield. I've never seen a beating like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely dog shit in the pros. And unfortunately, right, we've got not two very...
Was Joe Joyce the same sort of far too late turning pro?
They've been amateur too long, and unfortunately, you just can't get out of your game. I've probably gone off too quick there. They're not dog shit. You know, I couldn't lace the boots, and they've achieved more than I ever will. But what I'm saying is, you can't say that word anything like a Tyson, because, well, as I've just said, Victor Loughlin got involved a bit. He turned his back. He had hold of his arm. It wasn't really a concussive beat down. He just caught him with a good shot. Fraser didn't know what to do. He couldn't recover, and bam, got it again.
Oh,
and
mate, he looked to me like he had a fucking
open.
stroke. It
frightened me. That for a split second, I thought he'd done something serious.
That dent in the head was bad, mate. That he had a dent in his head where he, like the last punch,
the
literally
depression.
left a dent.
Yeah, but there's there's no padding in his gloves. Ben's told us about that.
Yeah, apparently, or the plaster of Paris in there or something.
Now, Peace, you know yourself. You know yourself. These gloves.
Peace, you are taking a piss.
These gloves that boxers put on, they have to be approved. They have to be certified, and they have to be watched putting on. So, how does Ben Shalom get out of what happened? That somehow these gloves are tampered or they're not suitable.
Fraser's not.
What are you trying to get out of? What are you trying to say?
But Fraser's not on that rhetoric. I've heard him on. Fraser's been on.
No, this is what Ben Shalom is. I mean, what does he get out of it?
Well, he signed a deal with Turkey Hello Street today, so he got some out of it, hasn't he?
He did, and also Adam Azim is wearing the same gloves tomorrow night against
O'Hara
Davis. So they can't be that bad. I just think it's a bit of sour grapes from Ben.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's
he just said it at the wrong opportune moments, and he's just made himself look a bit
think
of a
he's
tit,
trying to. I do think
is
it me? Is he trying to be an Eddie Hearn wannabe?
But listen, though, we're all forgetting Ben's got a law degree, and if you watch those interviews, he's very clever with what he says. It's a lot of suggestion and a lot of innuendo. He don't actually say anything incriminating. That's why Frank won't take him to court, and it'll just fizzle out. He'll get ripped for a bit, but it'll fizzle out. Ben's not a moron. He's done exactly what he needed to do. He's created a load of fraud.
Frank will be happy. Frank will be happy with just
around his name.
Yeah,
he's got
that's
a show
right, Jack,
tomorrow that's struggling to sell tickets. And then today's announced his big deal. It'll fizzle out in a week or so. That
it's true.
Now, what does this big deal mean for? What does this big deal mean for the big two when it comes to boxing now being joined at the hip at the big round table?
With Ben, aren't they, whether they like it or not now.
Will Frank Warren be happy with just, visually lambasting Ben Shalom at the weigh-in last weekend? Or is he actually going to be serious and take this man to court?
There's no to take him to court for. There's nothing there. He hasn't said anything. He's not incriminated himself.
I don't know, Jay. I don't
He can't
know.
go to court for suggestion. Listen, I've been up in front of that dock more times than soft Mick, and it's always been for something
No
that I've
comment.
said or done. It's always been for something that I've said or done. You know, you can't get locked up for suggestion. It don't
Yeah,
work
that's
like that.
true.
You can't get sued for it. He hasn't defamated. He's not slandered. It's all suggestion, and people have run with it based on suggestion. So I don't think Frank. I think there'll be words had, and there might be papers served in terms of, listen, you're sailing close to the wind. We've got to work together. Next time you're going to get a writ. Because Frank's,
That's probably it.
And Ben will have to bow, and Ben will have to be sitting at the naughty table for a bit, won't he? And he'll get the shit end of the stick at press conferences and stuff. But ultimately, they've got to work together. So Frank's not the boss.
They will have to, and they'll have to be looking unified for Tucky Al-Sheikh.
And it's not going to do anyway. Ben always gets ridiculed at the end of the table every time anyway, so it's going to be no different for him.
I think he leans into that as well. I think that's Ben's shtick now. He plays the victim.
Plays the underdog.
He's an underdog, and he's a bit of a geek, and he's done like this, and he's softly spoken this, and I think he plays into that shtick a little bit now. He might as well lean into it.
Do you think he's growing into it now?
I think so. I think what Jay said is right. I think because if you just watch his interviews now, he's smirking a bit more. He's laughing a bit more with it. Like
he's more confident.
More comfortable.
He's more comfortable. He's like, well, Frank sues everybody. This is what he's saying. So it's no big thing. Yeah, this always happens. So it's no different. They're not bullying me. It's just what it is type of thing. So I think he is leaning more into it. And it's just like, you might as well, because if you go against it, they're going to rub you out. So you might as well just go with what it is. And like you said, Turkey's probably going to make them get along for the forefront, maybe behind the scenes.
They've got
for a big sack of cash.
Yeah,
I mean, for a young man, what is he, 31? Ben Shalom?
30, yeah.
30 years of age. He's at the big table. He's brought Boxer from obscurity to the top 3 in the country. I think we've got to, give him some flowers.
We've got to applaud that, man.
We've got to applaud that. And it is.
It was a gimmick though when he first.
Let's just clap that shit up, because that is a tremendous achievement on his own. Let's go to the quickly on the next fight that was on that undercard, and probably for me the most impressive performance of the night, and that was Chris Eubanks Jr.
Oh now, God! Did you just say
Pavel Mehta is no mug. He's only lost twice and
he's ranked 5th in his own country.
He's ranked in his own country. I'll give you that. But can we say that he's better than some? If we're talking about Little Richard, Conor Ben coming in too with his hairstyle slicked back like the Doobie Brothers, and he's wanting a fight with Chris Eubanks Jr.
13 pounds above his own weight.
Nonsense fight. Nonsense.
Why is Tucky Al-Sheikh rewarding a drug cheat first and foremost? And why at Chris Eubank Jr.'s expense? Because the British public want to see this fight based on
pimping the papacy, Mr. Neutral. He's pimping the papacy. He's going after the money. He knows the Ben Eubank name will sell more than
Is there actually any money in this fight, PPV wise? You tell me.
No, I don't think it'll be a massive pay-per-view fight, but it'll be a massive fight in terms of the names in Britain. It's Eubank Ben. Like, even people who don't watch boxing anymore will be involved because of the 2 names on offer. Even though they're not the same as their dads, they never will be. Neither are as good or ever will be. But just the names are synonymous with British boxing. Eubank Ben, it's going to sell something more than the average fight, more than a Dalton Smith, more than anyone else. So we are going to see this fight at 160. Eubank is going to knock him out cold, and greasy, slick-back Australian boy is going to be sent down under. And that's how it's going down.
Yeah. Were you serious, Neutral, when you said that was the best performance of the night? Were you serious?
For me, I mean, I'll obviously take the undisputed, but of all the undercard,
other than that
was obviously Fabio Wardley was special.
Don't you think he laboured?
I think he did exactly what he said on the 10. He needed rounds. He needed a run out. If he could have had it done in this first and second round, he said that himself. He said, I wanted a run out. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that bit, but I tell you why. It's because that for me was a far more impressive performance than Liam Smith. Of late, it was a far more impressive.
But Liam Smith's better
performance.
than the Polish kid, though, isn't he? Miles better than him.
But Liam Smith's no middleweight
Miles.
for me. He's no middleweight. He's a light middleweight for me. Always has been.
Yeah.
He's all his best work for me was there. It was never a middleweight.
Oh yeah.
The one thing you can say about Kamil Serez-Meta as well, he's a tough guy. Like I said already,
He was. He took some punishment.
He can fight. He can fight.
He took some
and he came
punishment.
to fight. He knew this was the last hurrah. He knew this
No,
was his
but
last
what I'm
chance at any
saying
kind
is,
of big
right,
time.
If
He was
Chris
decent.
Eubank, if
I was
Junior
actually
did-
impressed with Eubank, and I hate Eubank. I was actually
Nah,
impressed
I'm
with
not.
him.
I'm not. I've never.
I'm
been
not
impressed
normally,
by
Jay. Not normally, but
No,
in
but
this
Eubank,
fight, I was.
if Eubank's as good
That's
as we're
fine.
supposed, if Eubank's as good as we're supposed to be led to believe, or as much as he talks himself up, then he should have been able to stop him in the second round.
Oh, mate, he'd be
Not
knocking
playing
Canelo
with
out
it.
in the first round if he was as good as he thinks he is.
That's what I'm saying, though. But he should be knocking these people dead if he's that good. Every time he's stepped up the levels, he's got beat.
Yeah.
I mean, but Conor Benn's not a step up, is he? He'll smash him to pieces. But
Yeah.
you know, for me, I wasn't impressed by it. I'd only been impressed if he'd have smashed him in second round and he'd have stayed down. For me,
Right.
That's
Right.
fair
because
enough.
he flatters to deceive. For me, does Chris Eubank Jr. You can't be swaggering around, giving it the big un, coming off your dad's reputation. Who your dad can fight. I remember his dad first time
Properly
around.
fight as well.
I remember going to the bus at school and people stopping and talking about, have you seen who that guy on the news this morning? He's boxing. Didn't know anything about boxing. That was the kind of coverage that his dad had. He's bummed off his dad's name for the past 10 years. And ultimately, he's been beat every time he's stepped up. So I'm waiting for him to step up to fight Canelo or fight Triple G when he lost his pen. So what he should have done with Serez-Meta, who, he might be good, right? But he's ranked 5th in Poland.
Was good.
Because he's not, because he's barely boxed over the past 3 years. He should be stopping fools like that dead. Should be stopping. When he knocked him down in the second, he should have jumped on him, got him out of there, and then said, right, yo, relax a boy, come here, you're next. But he didn't do that for me. He laboured to the win. I'm not having this. He needed rounds. Rah, rah, rah. You're talking shit. If you could have knocked him out in first round, you'd have knocked him out in first round.
Oh, yeah, you don't play in boxing, mate.
Like
you take it when you can, don't you? You take the knockout when you can.
Gee, giving it
I'm not
real.
trying to be dismissive and negative. I'm just not impressed by that. Not for me at this level, or the level he's supposed to be at.
But he's got no excuse next time round. Jay. You know,
Nah.
So you know, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt for it because Serez-Meta fought once in a year. He's, as you say, not actively great, but for me, still a hard pull to beat.
He knew it was the last throw of the dice as well. Just got to throw that in there. Serez-Meta knew this was his last chance.
Let me bring in Twitter's biggest beard, and that is Mr. Styles 619 from Canada. How you doing, big man?
Styles.
Yes, man.
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for that compliment.
What's going on, big man? You've been listening in. What's your thoughts of what you've been hearing so far?
What about Chris Eubank thinking he's all that in boxing? I mean, honestly, look, I agree. Chris Eubank has been living off of his dad's name for the past, however many years he's been doing this. He thought he was good when he fought. He thought he was good when he fought even Liam Beefy in their fights. But I mean, look, if this guy believes what he said he is, then why couldn't he finish his opponent quicker this past week from last weekend? Why couldn't he? If he literally believes in the skills that he's talking about, we all know that if he ever steps up to Canelo, if he ever steps up to Conor Benn, he's gonna get fucking destroyed. I mean, because if this guy wants to believe, and I've said this time and time again, talk is cheap at the end of the day. If you want to prove that you're the best and you're the best in the world, then knock these guys out. Put on a dominating performance. I mean, seriously. But you're not fucking doing that. So it's like, why do you think you deserve these big paydays?
Yeah.
I agree, apart from the Conor Benn part. The Conor Benn part, he fucks up Conor Benn. He fucks up Conor Benn real quick. Conor Benn's a pussy hole at 147. Imagine him at 160 with Eubank. Eubank's going to break his face.
Yeah, because, I mean, I'll give Conor Benn.
Listen, Eubank Jr. fought Billy Joe Saunders 10 years ago. something stupid like that, right?
It
He's
was
done
about that,
nothing
yeah.
since. He's been in the tournament where he got beat. Who's his best win? Yildirim?
Yeah,
He got
Yildirim,
smashed
yeah.
by-
Yildirim
Probably his
was his
best
name.
win
Yeah,
on
Yildirim.
paper, right? That's his best win. He, by now, should be a multi-belt world champion if he's as good as what he was supposed to have been. And ultimately, we're still talking about him making that step up.
Like
10
he's a
years after he
prospect.
fought Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, like he's a prospect. He's in his
Because that's all he
mid-30s,
is.
for God's sake.
That's all he is a prospect. That's the attitude he's giving off, is a prospect.
But he's
I mean,
35
hell,
years old. You know what I mean? 35-year-old prospect. It's ridiculous,
Next
really.
gen.
I'm
yeah,
still
yeah.
talking about him.
I'm a year younger than him, and yeah, he's talking like the way he's. We were talking about him, he's a prospect. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but that girl Elle Brooks got better skill sets than him in a boxing ring than he ever does. I'm just saying. No, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to talk about, but at least she's stepping in there and fighting, like, you know, actual fighters and like contenders. This guy just, and she's not living off of nobody's famous parent's name. He's doing.
At least she's pushing the envelope.
At least like, as much as we can give her shit about it, at least she's trying. At the end of the day, all he's doing is competing in poker tournaments, and he's not really stepping up. I'm like, oh my god, like, what are you doing here? Like, seriously, like, what are you doing in the sport of boxing if you're just going to live off your father's name? And he even said in an interview when someone asked him, like, oh, I haven't spoken to my father in years. No shit, because you're an arrogant little prick.
He's an embarrassment to the family.
Well, do you know, I think we can honestly say that, you know, was it Marvin Hagler that said you struggle to get up for your runs when you're laying in silk pajamas or silk sheets and whatnot? He's boxing like a multi-millionaire's son. There's no real hunger there. Man's got dough. Do you know what I'm saying? So the hunger's not there. He just wants to be famous, make more money on top of the money that he's got. But this kid's not.
They go compete in Misfits boxing. He's got a better chance.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Jay.
Boxer, so I know. I've seen my brother get out of bed at 4
I think
o'clock
he's
in the
evolved
morning.
into celebrity boxer, complete boy type.
He'd be better suited in Misfits. He'd make a load
He's
more
not.
money.
No, I think he sees himself as a Monte Carlo boxer type, you know, casino boxer.
Caviar.
Right, let's move on from that fight. We'll talk quickly about Sky Nicholson. Were you all impressed with the way she dealt with Raven Chapman?
Yes.
She just. I mean, you can watch one round and then just put it on loop.
That's it.
Her. She's just too skillful.
It took her a few rounds to get going, but when she did,
third, wasn't it? And then she just. It's rinse and repeat for her, isn't it? She's
Well, I had Raven first three for sure, and then Sky dominated after that.
She just pulled away from her then. She's
like
just so
good.
good.
Mr. Neutral says, she downloaded the info, and once she had that info, she absolutely wiped the floor with her for every round after.
Yeah,
that was
because the reason why that is, and she actually fought someone that actually gave her a little bit of a challenge in Raven Chapman, and she's starting to fight women that are going to give her that little bit of a challenge. So, and I've always seen this in every fight that I watch. It takes someone like a minute or like the first round or 2 rounds to get a feeling of their opponent before they go in and try to execute their game plan. And that's what Sky Nicholson did. And she actually fought someone that was actually testing her at that point, and that's Raven Chapman. And the next person is probably Tara Brown. She's got to fight these.
Tiara Brown's next. Tiara Brown's a mandatory. So IBF, you know they're going to order that. They've ordered IBF for Serbia.
They've ordered everyone.
Talking of the IBF jams, as we all know, another IBF mandatory was announced today. Now, people, you know, losing their minds with the IBF, saying, you know, why are they doing this, doing that? But what a lot of people are not understanding is a lot of these fights we're seeing right now, or have been planned for this year. The mandatories have already stepped aside.
Yeah,
so this is just
sorry, Mr. Neutral. Jai Apatai's opponent stepped aside for the
That's
Jack Mackey
right,
fight, didn't he?
Michael
Sin Cara,
yeah.
and that's for the IBF have ordered the now fight.
You had
same with Serbia with Eifert.
Usyk, and you know
Usyk. What's his bloody? I'm gonna say William Skull. Then bloody hell, imagine that for a fight.
Well, William Skull is now fighting Shishkin.
Shishkin.
That's going to be a fight. So I get it why the IBF. I do agree why what the IBF are doing. They're not letting boxing and promoters manipulate the length of time that a boxer holds a belt, basically, and it's saying, right, if you've stepped aside this time, there's no rematches. That's hence why there's no rematch in the Bivol. The top be a fight because there's got to be an IBF mandatory.
Yeah, apparently
So-
someone's came out late tonight, Mr. Neutral, and said that they'll actually allow the Bivol
They're
Batavian
actually
rematch if
allowing
it
that
can be
now.
reached.
Did you all see the tweet that when Mel Charlo met Bivol and wants to, have a fight with Bivol at some mad whack catch weight, and Bivol's just looking at him as if to say, "Have you lost your fucking mind?" That's not going to happen. Just some other bits of news before we get on to one of the other main subjects. We got Dan Aziz and Eddie Edmondson. Fuck. What was his name? What's his name, James?
Lewis
Lewis
Edmondson.
Edmondson.
Yeah,
right.
Louis, yeah.
Another boxer show coming up. Who have you got for that? You
Dan
guys
Aziz
very
by
quickly.
KO, mate, for me.
Aziz by KO,
easy
I
work,
think the same.
Easy work.
Super Dan. Even though Edmondson's 9-0 undefeated, he's not strong enough to keep Dan Aziz off. Dan Aziz had that horrible draw with Herveo set. He lost to Boatset. It's time for Super Dan to come back. He comes back strong this time and he knocks this man out within 6.
Mime Giles marking, yeah.
Shy, what do you think?
Sorry, Stevie. Say that again. Sorry.
I was just going to say, our man Dan, is he going to do it against Lewis Edmondson?
I hope so. I'm rooting for Dan.
We need him for a comeback, don't we?
Yeah, I root for Dan. Any fight that he's in, I just always want him to win. So
yeah, big up Dan Aziz.
I don't think I've seen Edmondson fight, but I heard it might be a tough fight. So yeah,
he's very slick, Miss Shy, very slick, but he's not got much power to keep someone like Dan Aziz off. He's not very strong, like in terms of knockout power or concussive punches.
No,
so he might struggle to keep Super Dan off.
Yeah, he'll be able to keep him at bay for a couple of rounds, and then Aziz should be able to just
4 or 5, I'd say, Jay. Yeah, and then I think Dan's just going to take over with the power shots and get him out of there.
I don't think it'll go past 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dan, man. I've got Dan. You know he's our guy, man. So yeah, going for Dan.
Okay, right. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia did 300,000 buys, apparently. According to Golden Boys, Oscar De La Hoya. Now, do you believe it? Yes or no?
No.
Jay says no.
No.
It's a load of shite.
I don't believe it. But then again, Sado, we only knew about the controversy after the fight. So the fight might not have sold that well because we didn't know about all the bullshit until after.
That fight wasn't as big as what it ended up.
Yeah, I
That's
kind of
the simple truth of it, Jay. That is the simple truth of it.
Apparently, Haney's suing the team of Garcia, saying that they're lying about the pay-per-views and he wants more money off him.
Yeah, I actually believe it. Because
the thing is, though, sorry, Shine. You were saying you believe it, though.
Yeah, I was saying I believe it because if we remember back to the time when it was all happening, Ryan Garcia was acting crazy. People didn't know if the fight was on or off. People was just like, I don't think this fight is going to happen. I remember lots of people saying, I ain't buying this shit because Ryan's not going to turn up type of thing. So I can believe it. It's only like what Jam said afterwards. There was like the big controversy.
And how much was that fight? Was it $70, $80, something like that?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was $90 bucks.
Oh, was it 90?
And it was 25 quid here.
And remember, Eddie Hearn kept saying in interviews that this fight is not as big as they think it is, like for the numbers and stuff. Do you remember? So I believe it. I'm not great with like what's good numbers or not, but I just think if that is considered low and not as high as it was expected, then I would say.
I mean, 300's not that good a number, but for a fight like that to get 300,000 pay-per-views, it probably is a good number because it's only super fights really that sell above 300,000-400,000 buys, really.
Heavyweights normal as well. Normally
if you look at the caption, on your screen right now, and you can see the average pay-per-views of each boxer, including Haney as well. That 1.2 million fight that we saw with Tank and Garcia, was that just a one-off anomaly to get
Yeah.
that kind of figure?
Yeah, and it's both of them as well together. Like they both
And I
worked
think
well
Ryan
together.
was more of the YouTube that last year,
Yeah.
wasn't it? When they fought, it was more sort of the Jake Paul. It was one of Jake Paul's guys, wasn't it? So you had
Yeah.
the likes of my kids wanting to buy those kind of cards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People
You
that
had
don't
all the
really
YouTube
watch.
kids wanting to go to it and watch it, and they were all
And the
paying for it.
girls. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
even
I'm
joking.
sorry. Yeah, and the
I've got
girls
a 12-year-old.
definitely.
I've got a
He's a
12-year-old
good-looking
there,
fella,
right,
is Ryan.
that never watches fights. She's not interested in fights. She's bought 2 of the Misfits pay-per-views and never watched them. But her friends are watching them, so she's going to
Yeah,
buy
of
it,
course.
and then she
Yeah.
just gets bored. She's not into
Yeah.
fights. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's all those buys and clicks that they get from a
100%.
different generation that are not necessarily fight fans. But in terms of fight fans buying pay-per-views, you can see there 300 to 400 pay-per-view buys is an average number, because none of those fighters what they're showing there are superstars as such. The tri-sellers that Tank is not. He's not until he fights another star. I think he should fight Tio, and I think that would get people's juices flowing and be a bigger pay-per-view fight. Certainly over there, you know.
Yeah,
boxing,
definitely in America.
Is Tank in danger of stealing the Teo fight under the nose of Devin Haney, who's gone this route with Blair Cobbs, or is that a load of hashish?
Whatever boxer Tank wants to fight, they're gonna go to Tank over Devin Haney. No disrespect to
all
Devin,
day.
because they're just always gonna go over there. So if Tio was offered Devin or Tank, he is 100% gonna take Tank. 100%.
Yeah,
Tank's a bigger
money-wise,
name.
that's definitely true. But you got to remember now,
No,
also, if they want to preserve their fighter's career, you're going to take Devin Haney over Tank because you don't want your guy getting knocked
I
the
was going
fuck
to
out.
say you're going to get Haney fans who'll turn around and say that, well, he's ducking Haney. Then that's that kind of spiel. You get it. I understand it. It's annoying, but it is what it is.
It's politics, boxing politics.
Now, Blair Cobbs is the guy that has been heavily touted.
Beat Adrian Broner last time out.
Is he the one that knocked out Grover's teeth?
I'd fancy me.
Yeah, he knocked Broner's teeth out. Yeah.
But first, the question I've got to ask you guys: is this a come down fight?
They want to go and fight Broner now as well.
Is this a come down fight from Garcia, considering it was only 6 months ago?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Do you know who I would have liked to see Devin fight? I really would have liked to see him fight Tio. I feel like if he fought Tio and, like, let's just say he beat him, I think that would have
get more credibility.
Yeah, he'll get more credit, and it would be like, okay, look, he's not washed like how they're trying to say he is. Because Tio's on his good day, he can be a good fighter and stuff. So
because I don't understand what's going to be waiting for him after a Blair Cobbs fight.
And especially imagine if Blair Cobbs beats him. Oh my God.
Oh, that, I mean, I don't know. Is that going to be another Stephen Colbert story?
Yeah, it is.
Chris, he's done. So he's lost that last fight.
Chris,
if he loses another one to a Blair Cobbs, for me, his elite level status is gone.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
All peace. You're smiling away.
Against Cobbs.
What do you think?
That was his last opportunity to make a resurgence, and he let Blair Cobbs steal his thunder. That's tough. Because, like, man, you gotta understand, Adrian Broner is one of the most prolific trash talkers in boxing history.
Yep.
So he's gonna talk all that cash money shit and to go get his dentures knocked loose about Blair Cobbs.
But just loose OPs, they were flying across the ring, bro.
They were loose, all right.
Trap house online, mate. He got his teeth absolutely disfigured from his mouth.
I think one of the judges caught in the eye. No,
protruding teeth everywhere.
That's tough.
I just don't understand the mindset with the Heneys right now. They've got such a momentum coming off that. Obviously getting the no contest. Is this young man guilty of some erratic behaviour himself with his father in the way that they've been approaching various platform outlets to get all videos of the Garcia fight taken off, such as the lengths that they're going to with
I
this
think the
battery
problem
case.
Bill Haney is he gives it the big shot, big licks. I come from the streets and I'm ghetto and I'm rough and I'm this. And then in the next vein, they're sending writs to YouTube channels for showing copies of his son getting beat.
And
If
sue
they
him for
wanted to
battery.
sue him for battery.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. You're either about it or you're not.
Yeah.
It's that simple thing. I grew up
Yeah.
in the streets, so I'm about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
It
But
would reinforce
I'm not saying I'm about
his
it and not
it
being.
would reinforce his story if he was to take on a very hard, a more, let's say, a more acceptable challenge amongst the fans, than Blair Cobbs. I like Blair Cobbs. I think Blair Cobbs will give Devin Haney all sorts of problems, but
It's not a bad fighter.
it's not
He's
a
all
fight
right.
that true Devin Haney fans want to see. Devin Haney fans want to see a Teofimo Lopez. They want to see a Tank Davis. So where does this
You
leave the
can't say
fans?
you can't sell yourself as the second coming of Floyd Mayweather and then be taking walkovers. No disrespect to Cobbs, but Devin Haney should beat him pretty convincingly. I don't think he'll stop him, but he should, 11-1, 10-2
easily outpoint him.
So you can't be giving it the big one.
The longevity of his career and stop thinking about these glamour fights. Like he don't need these fights right now. He don't need a Teofimo. He don't need a Tank. He don't need none of those guys right now. He need a tune-up. He need a guy he could go punch on and exercise. He need to go get his confidence back. That's what he need to go do. I don't want
Cobbs is not that man.
Like that because
I don't agree.
Ryan Garcia was full of drugs. He ain't beat me, and he go up and up with those same deficiencies and get really exposed. You know what I'm saying? So
that for me is his biggest problem in his next fight is he has got to vanquish all them demons that the people are giving him.
He's not going to get that, but he's not going to vanish them by going in there and getting it all his own way and beating up somebody that shouldn't be in there with him. It's about boxing the best. Get in there and have a fight, bro.
He needs someone who comes back at him, gives him a few smacks back.
If we're talking about his contemporaries, and
I don't think you get him in there with a punching bag. Somebody, a complete can. I'm not saying put him in there with a complete can. Put him in there with a guy who can fight, but not that dangerous.
Yeah.
Sandor Martin would have been his mandatory. He'd still have a belt now.
The easiest one, neutral, wouldn't it?
And it would have been an easy fight because Sandor Martin's not a knockout artist. He's not dangerous in that respect.
But Blair
He's a very good boxer.
You know what I mean?
Now tell me, is he going to earn a lot more money with Blair Cobbs than he would do with Sandor Martin as a mandatory? You have to enlighten me here.
No.
He probably should have took that fight.
I think he should have done.
About 90K of his looker.
I mean, on BLK Prime as well. And God forbid, this is going to be PPV on BLK Prime. God forbid.
I definitely wouldn't put him in the ring with Paro. I wouldn't put him in the ring with Paro.
Leo Paro would fuck him up.
I wouldn't put him in the ring.
Didn't Eddie Hunt offer him the Paro fight?
He get his ass handed to him by Paro.
He didn't fancy the IBF £10 rehydration clause in the first time. He's not going to go it the second time.
Paro's already tied up anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is anybody questioning if he can even make 140 pounds healthy?
Thank you. Because he sold his soul to the devil to make 140 for the Garcia fight.
I would have thought 147 now for Haney.
Yeah, definitely.
He's not big enough for me to do anything at 147.
I think he's big enough. I don't think he's strong enough for 147.
No, that's what I mean.
Listen, I don't think it's a thing. I don't think he don't have strength because he don't have strength. I don't think he has strength because he has poor punch technique. That's what it is. He has poor punch technique. You could tell when he hits the head.
Yeah, those punches to the back of Ryan Garcia was not a pretty sight.
Gloves on. He didn't get it back with the 4-ounce gloves on. Bro,
that was not a pretty sight.
Yeah, just to go back to Liam Poirot, he's fighting Richardson Hitchens, isn't he, next?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's
Funny
a good
enough,
fight.
Richardson
Who you got in that
Hitchens
one
and
real
Jack
quick? 'Cause I
Carroll
think
could
that's
have
a
had
good
that
fight.
title fight a year ago.
Harrow's
But
too
Yeah.
strong for him.
Yeah, I believe so,
Too
Jay,
strong for
definitely.
Hitchens.
Poirot knockout
Yeah.
for me, mate, around the 9th, I reckon.
I'm same, yeah.
I want
But
to
no,
bring a
Haney
bit of.
flows
I'm taking
straight,
Poirot
man.
by knockout. I'll take him by decision.
That's
I'll
a fair
take
call, Peace. Richardson Hitchens is a tough guy, man. He's a tough guy. He's a good boxer.
Richardson Hitchens. I like Richardson Hitchens. I just
Poirot's just a
I
bit
think he
on
talks
a
a
level
very
at the
good
moment,
game.
you know what I mean?
I think his trash game is very good. I just
Do
think
you
it's better than his
Richardson
boxing
Hitchens
game.
got pressure like Matias?
I
Yeah.
think, but yeah, I think that'd be a fascinating fight. He could have
Super
fought
Matias,
Matthias back
definitely.
in December 2022. Yeah, he could have fought Matthias way back then, but decided
Why didn't that fight materialize?
because Eddie Hunt didn't want him going the IBF route.
Weren't enough money involved.
Yeah. In fact, they passed it
They've always
over
fast headed.
Jack Carroll, and Jack Carroll passed it over as well. And lo and behold, Jack Carroll is fighting for what title now?
It's got Rougarou.
Yeah,
A
Regis
fight that
program.
no one wants to see. They're
the
giving
fight that
tickets
nobody
away
wants.
for
There you go
free.
again.
They're doing
See,
press
they put
events
you in
for
a
2 weeks
position as
before.
fans, and
Rough,
as
man.
Twitter heads to get these fights, ask for these fights. They're the next natural thing to happen, and then all of a sudden you get a Blair Cobbs coming out the woodwork. You get, Tanks fighting Lamont Roach. Fuck, where did that come
I
from?
like that fight, though. I like
I
Lamont
like the
Roach,
fight,
mate. He's a tough
but where
motherfucker,
did it
mate.
come
Lamont
from?
Roach. People
Where
are
did it
sleeping on
come from?
Roach.
Nobody expected that pick,
I don't
James.
know why
Nobody.
Yeah, I get that. But trust me, mate, people are going to be surprised by Lamont Roach. He's nobody's fucking mug, mate. Wait and see. Mark my words on this. You can clip this. Lamont Roach will not
You
lay
heard
down
it
to
here
Tank.
first, guys, in the chat
telling you
around the
now,
world.
mate.
Jams, when he gets,
He
I
will.
know that tone of Jams. I
He
know
will
that
fight
tone.
him to the death.
When he gets that tone in his voice, I know he's serious.
I said it with Liam Cameron. I
Yeah,
said it with many.
he's on a good
Terry
run at the
Harper.
moment. I wouldn't go against you, mate. I would not go against you.
Trust me, mate. He will come. Look,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to win, by the way. I'm saying he will hang tough in there.
Press conference too.
He'll be in there till the 10th at least.
He'll
go a round further than Frank Martin.
You gonna give him to the tit?
That's me putting my back to the wall for you, Piece. You know what I mean, bro? I'm going balls in, mate, to the 10th.
If Al Heyman's listening to me in the back there, can you, if you can just put up the latest Ring Magazine pound for pound rankings, we can quickly go through them. Number one is obviously Usyk. Number two, Inoue. Now we got Terence Crawford at number 3. And here we go. Beterbiev at number 4. And I think it was Bevel at number 5. Canelo 6. Bam 7. Tank at 8. Nakatani 9. And Devin Haney.
Get Haney out of there. What's he doing in there?
In the Ring Magazine top 10 pound for pound rankings in the world right now.
I'd love to smoke what they've got, bro.
Devin Haney ass in there.
Get Eubank Jr.
He's getting some flack, isn't he? OP Devin Haney.
3-time IBO champion, man. Reigning super middleweight IBO champion is Eubank Jr. Get him in there.
Chris Eubank's 3-time IBO champion.
That is unbelievable that Devin Haney's in the pound for pound list. That is crazy.
Well, let's go through what couple of changes you'd make. OP, look at that list again. First and foremost, do you agree with the top 6?
Terrence Bud Crawford belongs at number 1. He's the first fighter in history to be 2 times undisputed in the 4-belt era. He deserves to be number 1 pound for pound, period. And then you got Inoue. Then you got Usyk. First of all, Usyk.
You put Inoue above Usyk, aye?
Don't know heavyweight need to be on the pound for pound list because the pound for pound list wasn't made for heavyweights.
He was a cruiserweight when he started.
He was cruiserweight champion, though.
But he's a heavyweight champion now.
Yeah, but
He
he
was a
cleaned up at
middleweight in the
cruiser as well,
amateurs.
so he unified both divisions. No?
I still respect his
He
accomplishment.
unified both, and he was a welterweight amateur
Okay,
champion as well
so
before
your
that.
top three, you know, you'd have Crawford
Yes,
in you,
let's go
and then
around. Now,
Usyk.
number 4, I'm not mad at. Number 5, I'm not mad at. Then you got Canelo number 6, huh?
Yeah.
Canelo 6, Bam 7, Tank 8.
All right.
Is that a correct order
No.
in your eyes?
Yeah, I think, yeah, pretty much. But Haney, he's out because he doesn't have a belt anymore. He's a champion in recess right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shakur Stevenson defended his title. He should be a pound champion right now. 3 division
Thank
world
you, all
champion.
peace. Shy, you've had a look at that top list. What do you think?
Sorry, guys. Do you know what? I'm gonna just be honest. I don't know too much about how the pound for pound rankings and all that works, so I would not be good on this. I'll just be waffling. So I don't even want to pretend that I know how to rank it and all of that stuff. So next question.
Okay, then. Let's go to you, Jay. You obviously had enormous respect for that list.
Yeah, I think Bud 1, Usyk 2, Inoue 3, Bivol 4 because he got robbed, Beterbiev 5, Canelo 6, Bam 7. I'd swap Nakatani and Tank. I think I'd swap them around just on body of work.
Yeah.
Recency bias a bit as well.
Yeah.
10. I don't think I can disagree with OPs. I think I'd probably put Shakur in just on him defending his titles. I know he's a bit stop-starty, but there's not many. I can't think of any others to champions that have defended with consistency that I could probably put in there. So I suppose,
it's a good shout. Shakur's obviously, you know, and still a young man, has done tremendous in his career, and there's no two ways about that. So you would have Shakur in at number 10. Thank you, Jay. Mr. Styles, you are an enormous fan of the Ring magazine. Tell me about what your thoughts on this list.
I don't mind the top 3, but I would put Inoue actually at number 1 because of how fast he became double champion in another division so quickly after he dominated the bantamweight. So I would put him, for me, at number 1, Crawford number 2, and then Usyk number 3. And I don't mind numbers 4, 5, and 6, but for 7, 8, 9, and 10, I would take those guys out, and I would put in Clarissa Shields, Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, and Amanda Serrano.
Wow.
I mean,
Mr. Styles.
A diverse list indeed. Thank you for that, Mr. Styles.
We got a co-ed
Chantel Cameron.
We've got an advocate for the female.
He's got you though, because there's not a
Mr.
fucking word that any of you can say. Jams. What is your? There you go.
How do I follow from that, Mr.
I mean,
Neutral?
Clarissa
How do I follow from
the
that?
last 2 titles she's won,
Serrano with Inoue
didn't deserve to be in there fighting for the title. So I'm not.
But they've all won. They've all won multiple world titles in multiple weight classes.
If you're talking Clarissa Shields, you may as well put her as number 1 and forget the rest.
Well, no, because the last 2 belts she fought against women that didn't deserve a world title shot. To be fair.
That's because there's no women at heavyweight in women's boxing, isn't there? That's why.
That's what I mean.
Right,
so
Jams, give us your thoughts on that list. Who you would
her.
change?
To be honest, Mr. Neutral, I completely agree with the entire list, apart from number 10. I'd boot Devonania and I'd put Jai Opataya in there.
Good man, Jai Opataya. He was one of the names on my lips that should be a replacement for number 10 spot. I actually do agree. I think Devin Haney is found his ceiling. You know, for me, as far as his weight can
Ryan
go,
Garcia found him on the ceiling
and to
after
be
he knocked him
winning
the
championship
fuck out.
belts, I would have a Jai Opataya. I would have either.
Marius Bradis. So Marius Bradis put him on the pound for pound list.
I
Oh,
won't put
who's put
Brady on the
Mario's?
pound for list, but Jaya Pataya I would, mate. He is honestly formidable
I'm
force
saying,
from his amateur
he
record
Mary's
all the way
greatest
through his pro record, all the way through to now. He beat Brady's twice
Go
with a
on,
broken
James, you
jaw.
tell him.
He absolutely battered him. He battered Jack Massey, who'd never been
Who else
stopped.
he fought?
He
Who
is
else
an
he fought up
absolute
there?
warlord, mate. And he will go on to unify and be undisputed in the cruiserweights, and then he'll do it up at heavyweight. Mark my words, you heard it here
You
first.
tell him, James.
Number
Big,
10,
big up.
Jai
Grab that
Pataya,
shit up,
mate.
mate.
I
This
agree
man's
with
talking
Jam.
about a
I agree
future pound
with
for
Big
pound
Jam.
Jai.
star.
Who did he beat?
Big
Who
Jai
did
fans here, mate.
No
Go on,
pieces
Jam.
like that.
They haven't
Who
beat
did he
anyone.
beat other than Marius Braidis? Tell me right now. Who did
Marius
he
haven't
beat?
beat
Braidis is
anyone on
a
there.
That's
he's a
blasphemy,
multi-weight
all
world
piece.
champion, mate. He was a
Yo,
fantastic amateur. He was a great fighter.
listen, I like him. I like John Opatai. But the put him on the top, get him out of here. Get him out of the
So you
list.
prefer Devin Haney? You'd rather have Devin Haney at number 10 than Jai
Hell
Pataya?
no. Hell no.
Come on, man. Ryan
Uh,
Garcia's a fucking YouTuber and he wiped the floor with your guy. What are
Get
you
the
talking
hell out
about,
of here,
Pete?
too.
My God, there you go. Look at that picture. There's your guy on the fucking
This
floor.
is
Name one
crazy.
time you've seen Jai on that position. Come on, Pete.
Go on, James.
Come on, Pete.
God.
Come on, Pete.
Hey.
Come
Man,
on,
you
Pete.
got Reign of Supreme
Bloody
over
hell,
here.
man.
All
Talking about
pieces
Devin Haney
like
here, man. I could have pulled out a wet roll of toilet paper and it would have been stronger.
Hey, come on,
Fuck.
man.
So guys,
you
how
gotta
do you
love it.
guys how do you guys
Listen, you got a picture of
I'd
Ryan
rather Ryan Garcia
Reign
in
of
the top
Supreme
10 than
over,
Devin
man.
Haney.
Come on. Ryan
He's getting
All
Garcia.
right,
laid out
enough
like a
of this
bitch on his
blasphemy,
back.
enough.
so
Great
guys, let me
stuff.
Mate,
ask
I'd
you
have put
something
fucking
quickly,
Terry
yeah?
Harper in there over Devin Haney.
Let me ask you something here. How do you guys compile like a pound for pound? Because every time like someone tries to explain it, when I
Great
go on
question.
Pure
Twitter, someone
guesswork.
else is like
Pure
valuing
guesswork.
it
It's just
different.
based on who you think deserves to be higher up than the other based on performances, titles won, longevity of career. It's basically, it's like
How the
scoring, it's
week
subjective.
came.
It's also future prospects. It's
I
also
think-
what you think they can do in the future.
Okay.
think-
Like longevity of career, how you think they can
it's
go on, how many years they can dominate. And I think Jaya Pataya is going to dominate for the next 10 years.
Get
Hence
out of
why
here,
he's my number 10.
Get out of
In a
here.
shit division.
Thank
I
you.
think it's I
And
think
good
it's
night.
of a few things.
Okay.
I think it's a collection of the fighter's career,
Mhm.
their accolades,
Mhm.
and their record at the time. So all that comes into play. You know what I'm saying? With the pound for pound. Now the reason why I don't put heavyweights in the pound for pound. See, the pound for pound list was created for Sugar Ray Robinson because they was measuring Sugar Ray Robinson's skills to that of guys in other weight classes, and it was saying, well, basically, if he were to measure up against those guys pound for pound, he would be able to beat those guys if he was the same weight as those guys with his skill, boxing IQ, same weight. He would be able to beat those guys. So that's why the whole list was created. So that's why I don't really put heavyweights in the list because the heavyweights are they're the top of the food chain. So
yeah,
you know they're the top of the top. So why put a heavyweight in the
Okay,
But
that makes sense.
Bruce earned it though. He earned it. He earned it. You don't have too many two-time undisputed, you know what I'm saying, champions in boxing. So by merit of that, I rank them in order of who accomplished it first. That's why you know what I'm saying, I rank Bud number one because he's the first male boxer in history to become two-time undisputed in the four belt era. So I feel number one pound for pound. And then you got Inoue. He was the fastest to do it, and he did it second. So Inoue, boom. Then you got Usyk. Usyk just beat the man who beat the man.
Yeah.
So he number three. Then you got Better B. Better B just became undisputed light heavyweight champion in the four belt era, first in 25 years.
Okay.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. How do you explain Dimitri Bivol at 5?
Because he
above all the other guys who are unbeaten, multi-weight champions.
His only long loss came to the new light heavyweight undisputed champion of the world. That's why he's number 5.
Yeah, you've got to keep Bivol in there till at least he fights Beterbiev again. If he loses again, then he slips down in the pecking order. But he's got to be in there still. You don't just not become
You
great
still have him
overnight.
above Canelo, though, yeah?
Why Canelo?
Yeah, because Canelo's also lost to Bivol.
Canelo
Canelo's
lost
also
to
lost to
Bivol.
fucking Floyd. So
But Canelo's a five-weight world champion.
yeah, but it's not always about the straps. It's about
this
This
is
is what I'm
see this
saying.
about the future
Yeah.
they could have.
this is
the
the differences in which people count pound for pound.
That's why I'm
Exactly.
asking. Yeah.
But when
That's
you
why
talk
I
roundabouts,
asked.
apples and oranges, night and day.
Who else
You know,
can you say? Who else can you say?
Now, I'm very clever with my pound for pound list. Mine always see current. Now that means you've got to have fought in the last year, and you've got to have been kept winning. You've got to, you know, and
So how comes Errol Spence and like was in it for so? Because I always used to see him on like the pound for pound list, but he hadn't fought for ages. Like so,
incredible.
Activity, no activity, no belts. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah, just some of them are. Errol Spence has only just come out of the Ring magazine one, by the way. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
recently.
He was number 10 till recent, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Well, guys, look, we've had a fantastic night's debate tonight. Thank you all individually for coming in and supporting me. Back my first show back in 3 weeks. Absolute
Yeah,
pleasure.
so glad that you're feeling better, Stevie.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought I was never going to get better.
No,
but yeah, each and every one of you, thank you so much indeed for iBoxing
Mr.
Hub.
Styles, did Mr. Styles give us his pound for pound?
I think
I did.
Yeah, he gave the four ladies.
He
added the four ladies.
Through all women, you had Clarissa Shields at one, didn't you?
Clarissa Shields, Serrano, Katie Taylor, and Sky Nicholson, was it?
Serrano,
Amanda Serrano,
Cameron,
Clarissa Shields, and Katie
Cameron, right? Good shout. Well, guys, thank you very much.
Big up, guys.
God bless
I hope to see you all again soon.
God bless Jay's Fight Talk.
Thank you so much indeed. This show sponsored by our good sponsors, D-Rock Apparel. Here they are. Guys, don't go anywhere. There is 40% off in the promo code iBoxingHub24 of this lovely Travis quality stuff. Guys, thanks very much for doing a watch along tomorrow night on iBoxing Hub for the Adam Azim and Jay Davis fight. That'll be on with us at 10 o'clock, hopefully ring time. And then at 4 in the morning, Murtaza Aliyev versus Tim Tszyu. That'll be on PBC Prime at 4 a.m. If you're doing anything, guys, or if you're not doing anything, come and join us, or vice versa. We'll do something else. So, thanks once again. Jay, hope to see you again soon.
Yeah,
you too,
man.
Mr. Styles.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you too.
Beard, as always. And this is Mr. Neutral, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, with your bag it up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag,